What's up, HatCamBass viewers? It's Jake. Me and my partner are leaving tomorrow for the Boat US Cabella's College National Championship. It's on Lake Pickwick in Florence, Alabama. It's a really good ledge fishing lake, deep water. I've never been there. Heard they got some good hydrilla too, so maybe some frogging in the morning. But I'm gonna go over kind of what my game plan is for fishing, what I'm thinking about throwing, and get this video out to y'all before I get my videos out of pre-fishing and videos out of the tournament. Just kind of an intro to videos to come. Stay tuned. First thing I'm going to talk about is first thing in the morning, we're looking at throwing a Spro walking frog. This is sexy shad color, up around some matted hydrilla, and hydrilla might not be real matted yet, but just round hydrilla, around shallow cover in the morning, hoping to get a big bite. Throwing that on a Lew's tournament MB in 8 3-to-1 with, as you can see, always 50 or 65 pound braided line. We're throwing that on a 735 Dobbins Savvy Series rod. It's a great frog rod. That's pretty much what we're going to focus on in practice doing in the morning. Hopefully we can get some big bites doing that, and then we're going to go out deep ledge fishing. This right here is a Brad's Custom Baits D22 style. Dives between 18 and 22 feet deep. It's got an awesome paint job on it. That's his Summer Sexy Shad. That is a killer color. You really can't beat the quality of these crankbaits, especially for the price. I mean, when you go to the store and you buy yourself regular 6XD, whatever, it's a good bait, but it's got low quality hooks on it. You got to go and immediately spend money, switch those hooks out if you're wanting to land all those big fish you hook out deep, especially if you're tournament fishing. You got to change those hooks out. Sometimes the hardware is not very good on it. Buy something from Brad's Baits like this. It comes already set up with the size hooks you prefer, the brand hooks you prefer. That's all included in the price. So you get a custom painted bait that's top quality with the best split rings, the best hooks you can have. I'm throwing that on a 7'10" heavy action crankbait rod. It's got a 5/6-to-1 Lew's reel on it, 12 pound Sunline reaction fluorocarbon. Just basic crankbait setup. You need a little heavier crankbait rod than normal when you're throwing these bigger baits, just to really handle casting them out there and winding them back in. If you don't have the right setup when deep cranking, you're just going to tire your body out. You're not going to be able to do it for 6-7 hours in a day, a tournament day. So really invest, if you want to throw deep crankbaits, in a good solid setup, so that you can go out and throw them all day without being fatigued. All right, next bait I'm going to talk about real quick is Impact Lures football head jig. That's in their ultimate peanut butter and jelly color. It's one of my favorite colors during the summertime, especially in clean water like we're gonna have out there on Pickwick. I've got this paired up on a 764 Dobbins Champion casting rod. I've got it tied on 20 pound fluorocarbon on a Lew's Super Duty casting reel, 8 0-to-1. I like these deep spooled Lew's when I'm using this heavy fluorocarbon, because when I'm out deep, I want a lot of line capacity because I'm making long casts, having to let that bait sink down. So you really need that extra line capacity, so that deep spool really helps out compared to a normal reel with a shallow spool where you can't put that much of that heavy fluorocarbon on that. So I really like this setup. This is what we're primarily going to be backing that deep crankbait up after we get that school fired up, catch them on that deep crankbait. We're going to come back through with the football head jig and Carolina rig and pick up those fish that aren't actively feeding, or maybe just kind of feeding here and there. A lot of times you get your bigger fish. First off, you get your bigger fish on the crankbait, and then you might just catch some smaller fish. Then you come back through with that football head jig or that Carolina rig and pick up a good kicker. Next thing I'm going to talk about real quick is just regular Carolina rig. I've got it rigged up on a on a 1 ounce tungsten weight. I've got a plastic bead in between the weight and the knot. This kind of just protects the knot from getting dinged up by that tungsten. You know, just got your normal swivel right here. This is a Spro swivel. Got it paired up with 15-pound mono for my leader. I'm using just regular 3/0 EWG Gamakatsu hook to throw like baby brush hogs on it, ring fries, grande bass rattlesnakes, just your average Carolina rig baits. I've got that paired up on a Dobbins Champion XP 804. It's a Carolina rig special rod. I like throwing these real long rods when Carolina rigging, at least a 7.5 foot rod, to help get a hook in those fish when you've got a lot of line out. You want something with a heavy backbone, but kind of a soft tip on it to feel those bites. If you have too stiff of a tip, it's just not going to be. You're just not going to be able to feel those fish load up on that Carolina rig appropriately, and you're going to kind of yank that hook out. So I like that rod with a little softer tip and a heavy backbone. That soft tip also helps with loading that rod and launching that Carolina rig out there. Same reel we're throwing the football head jigs on, Lew's Super Duty. It's got that deep spool like I talked about before to hold a lot of 20-pound fluorocarbon. High-speed reel really helps with picking up line when you're out deep on a long cast. All right, guys, last thing I'm going to talk about, and then we're going to cut this video out and get off to doing something a little more fun tonight, is going to be, this is an X-Sight big shaky head. It's called an X-Lock shaky head. Awesome bait. This is, I believe, 5/8 of an ounce weight. It's got a real big hook on it. I'm going to use this to throw baits like the X-Sight Maximus worm. This is a freaking awesome bait for ledge fishing. Awesome bait on a Carolina rig, big Texas rig, or preferably on this big X-Sight X-Lock shaky head. I'll show you real quick how to rig it up. It's pretty simple. It's got this nice screw lock on it, so you're just going to screw that bait right onto that, where it goes all the way up to the base of the head of the jig. And then just like any Texas rig, we're going to go through, so about like there, and we're just going to come back and Texpose that bait. You can see it's a really big bait. It's got awesome action. That bait will stand straight up on the bottom, and that tail will just kick up and really draw some good strikes. This is also going to be another bait I'm going to be throwing after I throw that big crankbait. You just got to experiment between that, the football head jig, and the Carolina rig, and figure out what those bigger fish are wanting. I've got high hopes for this bait. I've caught some good fish on it in the past out here in Texas, so we're hoping those fish out there on Pickwick really bite this. I got it paired up on a 7-foot 3-inch medium heavy rod, high-speed reel, 15-pound fluorocarbon, basic Texas rig setup. Nothing too heavy, but you know, you don't want to be throwing it out there on a 6'6" medium action rod with light line, because we are fishing for big fish.